Okay.
Good evening, and welcome to this Cambridge Skeptics live stream. The Cambridge Skeptics are a community organisation who promote science and critical thinking in the area of Cambridge and around the world. I always screw up somehow when I do this. I don't know why. This evening we are talking to Jared, who is a historian and expert on QAnon and conspiracy theories. So, Jared, do you want to start us off? What is a conspiracy theory?
Well, I will start by, as Jack always start in pieces. My name is Thiago Vahia Malliagros, Jared for the Discord friends and Twitter friends. I am a historian from Brazil, so my perspective of conspiracy theories is of a historian. So I'm doing the historian work, as we can say. But yeah, let's begin by breaking down the phrase, which is the classic, open the dictionary. A conspiracy is, as I joke around before, me and Andrew talking about making a prank on Sam. That's a conspiracy. Or if you want to be more realistic, a conspiracy is, for example, the fact that Nixon did corruption to the Democrats in the Watergate scandal. That's a conspiracy. The Iran-Contra, another conspiracy. A conspiracy theory is more or less a belief that we can say that two or more people, or two people, for example, are planning or have planned a secret to happen. So, conspiracy theory, very simple, can be that Lady Di had Diane, the princess, died because she was pregnant of someone that was Muslim, and the royal family didn't want that happening on the news. That's a conspiracy theory because I have no basis on belief to have that, and the facts on that, quote unquote, are not, let's say, real. In the case of Lady Diane, she was not marrying the guy, the prince, I believe, and that's so make a conspiracy theory is that. But I have also another denomination of conspiracy theories is that where I bring the authors, the academic field. So, for example, we have the definition of conspiracy theory as a belief of creating a world that is manichaeist in the sense of very good define evil and good. So, for example, a classic conspiracy theory is the Jewish one. The Jews control the world. You have a very good defined bad, the Jews, the very good defined good, people that are non-Jewish. So, you create goods, you create very defined goods and evils. Other writers, for example, see conspiracy theories as a way to divert people from the real problems of society. Like, instead of you believe that, I don't know, the problems of the world are the rich, for example, or the bourgeoisie, you believe that the problems of the world are the central bank or the Federal Reserve, for example. Federal Reserve conspiracy theories are a classical. Usually it's enunciated with others. Did it make sense?
Yeah. So I think that passes a conspiracy theory from other types of beliefs. So like a belief in fairies, for example, it ticks off the first box in that there's no basis in fact, but actually it's not. There's no heroes and villains in it. It's not particularly distracting.
Yeah, also the conspiratorial belief, it's nothing, as said by Mikhail Barkun, give me a second to pick the reference, nothing happens by accident. So, for example, JFK didn't travel, JFK was murdered for a reason, he was going to expose the big evil, nothing as it seems. So, for example, Donald Trump walking 70 steps to the podium is a message. The 17 is the 17th letter of alphabet, which is QAnon, which is Q. So, it's a reference to the Q believers. And everything's connected. So the murder of Lady Diane is connected to the murder of JFK, which is connected to Harry Kissinger eating brunch in the morning, brunch, for example. And the conspiracy theory also is a bit different than the beliefs of fairies. It's a conspiracy theory is always trying to create facts. So it's always trying to base itself on reality. Like, for example, which is normal, as you said, from a belief on fairies. People that, let's say, believe on fairies will try to prove, facts about fairies. Someone that believes in conspiracy theories will have entire category, list of people to say. Like if you're anti-vaxxer, you know all the right doctors, scientists, everyone that says what you want to say, even if it's incorrect. Even same with flat Earth. Like you can get your own, I don't know, like physicist, physics professional that's a flat earther.
Yeah, and there is definitely, I think, within conspiracy theories, an element of social proof. If everyone around you believes the same thing as you do, the fact that it's got no basis in objective reality is meaningless.
Yeah, and also conspiracy theories can be creative of communities. For example, I am in a lot of Telegram groups of QAnon, and they act like communities. So people go ahead and complain that, oh, as I said, my son doesn't talk to me because he took the jab. I don't took the jab, and then everyone like, oh, don't worry, your son is going to see the destruction. They act like insulated communities most of the time. Like usually those people don't consume stuff outside of what is good for the community. Like what I don't know, the right people, they will watch comedy shows that are focused on them. That we can say that's very normal in the Christian world, especially in the United States. You have like PureFlix, which is a Netflix for evangelical Christian. We have specific communities. There's a Rob Dreher book. Rob Dreher is a conservative writer that he said. I was just checking his book. The book is called The Benedict Option, which is basically isolate ourselves, create our own communities while the world falls apart. Like this idea of isolating ourselves completely, which makes it even harder to disconnect from conspiracy theory. Like imagine trying to live the only community that has you. Like you connect.
Yeah. So how did QAnon get started? So we can see where it is now. It's got these communities, but yeah, how did it get started?
Oh God! All right, we can start on 8077 with the Illuminati. No, but for real. I'm sorry if I jump back. Yeah. Okay. All right. Please, George Soros, send me my check. But now, jokes aside, I say that because I want to pick the example of the Illuminati. I will reach QAnon. I will not take 200 years of history. Okay. Because the Illuminati surged as a Republican group or a group dedicated to the ideas of the French Revolution, quote unquote. It comes before the French Revolution. I know that. Don't tweet at me. That I know. It comes before the French Revolution, but it was a secret society dedicated to the ideas of freedom and more or less connected to the French Revolution. The group fell apart quickly, but it prolonged longer as a boogeyman of every group. This idea there's a secret. I picked the Illuminati because QAnon, we can say, is of the long traditions of conspiracy theories, which we call super conspiracy theories, which got much more popularity in the 80s and the 90s. Super conspiracy theories is also termed by Mikhail Barkun, that he poses on his book. There's three types. Event conspiracies, which is, let's say, Roswell, a simple event. Like, I don't know, Brexit, let's say, was organized by the deep state to destroy Britain. Single example, like minor authors, systemic conspiracies is open ones. A good example is the Jewish conspiracy terms because it involves like a single author. You believe that the Jews control the world. Point. Like that's it. That's it. Like more or less simple. And there's super conspiracies, which are all conspiracies together and mixed. So QAnon, you can be QAnon and believe in flat Earth because the Nazis also hiding the flat Earth, and QAnon is going to reveal the flat Earth and destroy the deep state. And you believe that JFK was murdered, and also the Jews are connected somehow. Super conspiracies is the conspiracy that it's an umbrella that all other conspiracies can rest upon, which has become the fact of QAnon. All right. Jumping on why I cited the Illuminati, because the Illuminati were used by QAnon, by previous individuals, and mostly William Cooper on the 90s. David Icke is going to use the Illuminati's too a bit more ahead after he published those aliens books. He mostly blamed aliens. But I think I'm going to then start more or less with the I will come back to the Illuminati. Don't wait. But I will start in the 90s because it's the fall of the Soviet Union. And with the fall of the Soviet Union, we have a boom of already. There's a lot of books being published on the time about conspiracy theories. David Icke starts there. Alex Jones is going to start some years after in radio. William Cooper has Behold the Pale Horse, which is one of the most famous conspiracy theorists books ever. It's sold and still sells incredibly well, and it's a classic from terms of Behold the Pale Horse is, well, one third of the book is his, another two thirds, one third is not his, and the other two thirds are belong to him. Like he put the Elders of Zion book on there. Elders of Zion book is the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. Theirs is there, but he says to replace the word Goyen with the word communist. No. He asks you to replace the word Jew with the word globalist, basically. Like, yeah, read the text, but this anti-Jewish propaganda is actually secretly globalist. It's all globalist, but they put the term Jews and Goy in there to distract you from the truth. But I say that surge in the 90s because it's a big moment that America becomes a world power, and the famous phrases that Bush father says, which is the New World Order. So it becomes the notion of black helicopters and FEMA camps, which we'll see continue to the 90s, the 2000s, a big boom, and a big even boom during the 2001 World Trade Center and truthers. And that will go on until 2017. So there's already, I'm trying to say that there's a long tradition to QAnon. QAnon doesn't, okay.
Yeah, it's not like you have a bunch of completely sane and rational people who suddenly believe in QAnon. They've been kind of prepped with these other things.
Yeah, they have prepped with years of conspiracy theories, and that is, we can say, if you want, the long-term, theory. I will divide that by, the belief that QAnon is born out of a long period of conspiracy theory. You can long-term, historic, like 200 years. You can say it is, short-term, analyzing QAnon by 2016, election of Donald Trump, 2008 collapse of the economy, and the conspiracy, and the increase of belief in conspiracy theories among the conservative movement. We have Glenn Beck doing the famous blackboard with names being connected everywhere. That was a classic of him. That was a classic of also the Fox News hosts, talking about conspiracy theories in Obama, the birth movement, where, that our friend Donald Trump appeared there. So we were shorter, 2008 more or less to 2017, because it's a shorter movement of conspiracy theories of QAnon appearing. We can even pick a shorter even movement of 2016 to 2017, which I analyze in articles about Meganon, which was the culture of the channelers. Okay, not channelers. The culture of people with fortune saying that stuff is going to happen. Like people saying that Hillary Clinton is going to get arrested. I don't know, Safrage, was a guy that worked in the Democrat establishment that was killed, and the conservative media run a story, and people run a story that was secretly killed by Hillary Clinton. And that was a thing that appeared on 4chan, for example, a lot. So we have different long, short, medium term, quote unquote, we say, to the appearance of QAnon. We have the classic, how can I forget, Pizzagate, which is the belief that it's born out of the leaking of emails by John Podesta by WikiLeaks, and it's the belief that the Democrats, or Joe Podesta specifically, is using secret codes, using the word pizza, to discuss about eating and killing kids, or having sex with kids, basically. It's a Pizzagate, which was what our friend Alex Jones was, until it... No, continue.
Oh no, I was just going to say, I think that certainly for me, the first time that I became aware of QAnon was when I can't remember the name, but one of the believers sort of stormed into the pizza rear and tried to go into the basement, which my understanding doesn't exist, because he thought that there were satanic rituals happening in the basement of the pizzeria.
Yeah, in the Comet Ping Pong. Yeah, that was one of the beliefs. Yeah, I think they tried to do that again. Actually, yeah, QAnon has done more accidents than Pizzagate. There is the guy that stopped at a dam asking for the release to be released. Someone stopped at saying there was a bomb in DC 2021. There was a guy that killed that kidnapped their kids, thinking the world was going to end. So, if we go by quote unquote accidents, QAnon has more, but QAnon has prolonged for longer than Pizzagate. So yeah, like QAnon is also brought from the Pizzagate, and what I'm trying to say is QAnon is born of a multitude of reasons, multitude of a conspiratorial past, or as I say, or I like to say it, conspiratory habitat. I'm going to say.
Yeah, it seems to be more of a platform where you can sort of bring anything you want into it.
Look, actually, QAnon has a plus because you can, like, if let's say you believe that flat earthers, like we are saying. Again, you can use the example that QAnon, because what QAnon is different is that QAnon offers alternative. That's why it exploded in popularity, because QAnon offers that yes, evil is going to be defeated. If you pick, for example, a neo-Nazi, for example, a neo-Nazi podcast, for example, I don't know, I don't even think I can say the names, but neo-Nazi podcast, Stormfront.
Sam knows them all. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, check. I don't speak German. Very good podcast about that. But yeah, if you check any neo-Nazi podcast or podcast, anti-Semitic podcast, usually they don't have the belief of how the world is going to be solved. Like yeah, the Jews control the world. We are fucked, basically. Like QAnon, I don't know. Anything you desire controls the world, but the good guys are winning this time.
And was that the major innovation that QAnon brought?
Yes. That is you have some tries of solving this problem of defeating evil. McCarthy in the 50s and Joe Burgess Society by basically destroying America democracy to solve communism. But I would say that yes, QAnon brought this idea to the front, which is solving the problem of conspiracy, like solving this problem of who defeats the bad guys. Like even for example, the classic William Cooper didn't have an answer. You read Behold the Pale Horse, and the book says that people have to get awoke. People have to woke themselves, stop being sheeple. But there isn't a solution. There is no ex-politician. QAnon literally says, no, Donald Trump of the military are at any moment, any minute, going to take down the government, the evil government, and establish an age of happy moments.
Isn't he already president, though? Yeah, I thought we established that.
Oh, I'm going to reach there. Don't worry. I'm going to reach 2020.
Well, and so there's you sort of explained that actually there's this ability to fight bad guys, or at least to have a
savior,
a hero, a solution. Has sort of made it more popular. But even popular conspiracy theories have always been rather ostracized. So, but belief in QAnon seems to become acceptable, at least within certain elements, but sort of relatively mainstream elements in the US. So, is there?
You could get elected on a QAnon platform, which is
well, yeah. So that's it. People are looking for QAnon and like endorsements from known QAnon sort of laureates or whatever you call them. So how's it managed to make itself palatable to the mainstream? Is that the same as this, or is there a different element?
Well, we can say that conspiracy theories can become more popular by, for example, the destruction of the oh god, how can I begin? All right. I wanted you touched on a good point. It's like why QAnon is different from, for example, the other conspiracy theories that appear like truthers, believers, or anything. Well, you have 2008 a major crash of the economy, and you have a worse of conditions of the United States. So people are more desperate, and people are looking for solutions. And the solutions in power didn't, let's say, presented themselves. So George Bush wasn't the same savior to conservatives, and Obama, besides being the demon for conservatives, for being black and being a Democrat. Yeah, that's a major point. Yeah, they say that he's Muslim and not American for a reason, and that's because he's black. I will not dodge the question. I will affirm here. Yeah, a big part of the belief is racism, but we have a worsening of conditions of the U.S. You have
I guess this isn't the first time a conspiracy theory has gone mainstream. If you think about McCarthy and the Reds under the bed scare of the 50s.
Yes, and yeah, we have McCartney on the 50s. We have the satanic scare on the 90s. We have, for example, even bigger conspiracy theories, like, for example, the Elders of Zion was a very popular book. Winston Churchill praised the book in the 30s and the 40s in the 20s and the 30s, before the book was revealed to be a copy of the dialogues of Machiavel and Robespierre in Hell. Yeah, that's the name. But yeah, conspiracy theories have gone popular before, and usually conspiracy theories are, let's say, not an answer to society, but they are trying to, usually the conspiracy theories has a reason to exist. So we can say that 2016, the conspiratorial belief was we needed to explain why Donald Trump is perfect, or we need to explain why. I would say that we need to explain why American society is at a bad situation, in the sense of America is declining as a global major power. That would go by Wallenstein. Wallenstein is a international politics relation, and he talks about collapsing of empires. And one of the signs of collapsing empire is the problems that generates collapse of hegemony. And so we have that, a declining of level of quality for Americans and a bunch of problems, and people want a response to that. The conservative response is, let's bring a different politician, Trump. But still, Trump appears to not be solving stuff. Why? Well, because he's secretly solving stuff by different means, quote unquote.
And I suppose the other thing as well, you talk about the decline of the sort of the American power, certainly relative to others since, because it was completely unrivaled, I suppose, after the
it was we can say that was a major hegemonic power to the 90s, to the collapse of the Soviet Union, to 2008, and then it's China. China is rising as a hegemon, or it's dividing power of the US.
It's America isn't sat so far above the rest as a way that it's sort of been have been for a while. The other thing that comes to mind as well is that by a bit like the Illuminati, as you first sort of touched on, by there being this secret organization that's controlling things, is that actually for the people who tend to believe in QAnon, it absolves them of any responsibility for the way that things have gone or for their own ills. They're kind of protected against blame.
Yes.
So they are suffering. It's not because of their decisions, it's because some great power somewhere is impressing things on them.
Well, we can say it absolves them of their beliefs. It absolves them of their political beliefs too. So I didn't vote for politicians that destroyed the world for 40 years. And also, that was QAnon in 2017. That changed in 2020, in 2021. I can talk about that later. But it was like almost, we can relax, Yeah, the good guys are winning. I just need to post memes about Donald Trump being God, Emperor of humanity, and Hillary Clinton murdering 500 people with their own bare hands. Like the only work of the people is the only work of people that believe in QAnon before 2020 was just waking up the sheeple. posting dumb memes and like other stuff. But reverting back to the question of why believe, QAnon is born of the conservative movement. Point. Like, it's born of the conservative movement. That's not a question. It comes out of 4chan. Like, please don't post links to me of people discussing leftism in 4chan. No. It's born of 4chan, goes to 8chan, then goes to 8kun. It's a right-wing movement at the start. It's not that there's not like that's a point. It's born of the conservative movement. It's much more popular among conservatives than quote unquote Democrats in America. Leftists have tech quote unquote other conspiracy theories, but not other conspiracy theories that believe in the class struggle and so on. But so yeah, it's born of the conservative movement, and we can say it solves the problems of the conservative movement. The world is changing, but it's changing for the worst, and it's because of evil guys in power. That is usually the classic answer to conspiracy theories. And
when I first saw the QAnon movement, I saw it was so embedded in US conservatism. I thought that will never spread around the world. But it has. I don't understand how has it become a worldwide thing when it's so deeply embedded in US conservatism and Donald Trump in particular.
Yeah, that's curious, right? There was even some QAnon people in Brazil that I was checking for a while. There are even QAnon people in the UK and QAnon people in Netherlands, which it's curious because
Japan and Australia, there's the movements everywhere.
Well, so a little bit of a very quick Google. So numbers may be wrong, but from September 2020, 1 in 3 Republicans apparently believe some elements of the QAnon theory. Only 4% of Democrats believe any part of like the major tenets of QAnon is true. And yeah, sorry, 33% say they believe it. 56% believe with some major tenet of QAnon in 2020, September 2020.
Put a pin on that because I will want to go back to that. But answer your question about the international of QAnon. Yeah, because QAnon is very marked by American exceptionalism. If you pick other writers about QAnon, they usually cite that the entire world has fallen under the cabal, and that only America has left as the bastion of the world democracy and liberty. And as such, we need. That's why we need to fight for America, because if we free America, we are going to free the world, which is a big aspect. But it's still. It came back from around the world. Why? Well, because the belief of QAnon is that the elites of the world are going to, be destroyed. They are evil and destroying the world and destroying their country, and the savior is going to arrive. As Trump appeared as a politician that was, let's say, attacked by the mainstream politicians. I would say, not right wing cranks, quote unquote. So yeah, we can see embrace, because you can be UK and believe in QAnon, but you believe that Q is going to free UK of the evils of the global cabal, because technically the cabal has no nationality. Technically, like, everyone can be of the cabal. You can say that Jeffrey Corbyn is of the cabal alongside Boris Johnson is of the cabal, and soon
Queen Elizabeth's definitely cabal.
Yeah.
Huh? I mean, yeah, like Netherlands gave us Falcabal, which I don't know. I have watched everything of her, but yeah, like that's a big conspiracy theory producer, for example. Like she's a woman for the Netherlands that produced QAnon videos and believes that Baron Trump traveled back in time to deliver QAnon information. Yes, that's it. But anyway, that's another part of QAnon, quote unquote. But I want to take the pin out of the belief, because the belief in QAnon among conservatives is okay. I will say some basic stuff that QAnon believes that's incredibly mainstream. One, the elections were stolen, that the elites are corrupt and want to destroy America. Just turn on Fox News. That is literally basic stuff for them. Immigration is destroying America. Again, basic stuff. George Soros is evil, just turn the television. There's Democrats have an armed wing of Antifa or any BLM are controlled by George Soros or the cabal to destroy America with race with this by discussing race in America. America is being tear up apart again. Just turn on Fox News or even turn MCBS. Any CNN, even CNN. So someone's going to say that culture wars is destroying America. So these beliefs of QAnon are mainstream, basically. That's like if someone appears at Fox News and say that, I don't know, asking people for their pronouns is destroying the West. Yeah, that's like normal to see at Fox News, for example. And that's again, for me, it's not surprising that so many people are adhering to QAnon because what QAnon says it's so close to what the conservative agenda was getting. So you can argue. I will not say that as a historian. I will say that as Thiago, that QAnon was inevitable or a conspiracy theory was inevitable. Seeing the conservative movement growing, and getting more and more radical as time goes on. So it made sense for a conspiracy theory like QAnon appear. I'm saying that as Thiago is not a historian. I will need to do I'm still doing my masters. I will need to do my 3 PhDs to say that. So, yeah. But that's possible, too. That's a possible theory.
So what do you think the future of the movement is then?
Okay, let's pick 2020. Right. The only politician that QAnon couldn't deal with was Bernie Sanders. That was the only politician they couldn't. No, I'm not being a Bernie bro or whatever. It's the belief because Bernie Sanders was attacking the same things that Trump was attacking, the elites, but they were attacking with the leftist perspective. The rich control the means of production, so we have to make America more fair for the workers. So that was not something that QAnon could deal with. It would go so much that if you see criticism of the conservatives against Bernie Sanders was that he was a communist. It was not nothing new.
And also, Bernie's been so consistently spouting that message that it's difficult to say he's any kind of shill or false flag, because if he is, it's a blooming long game.
Yeah, if you pick Ben Garrison and you pick Ben Garrison, I don't know, if you pick any conservative host before Hillary versus Bernie Sanders, they were supporting Bernie Sanders because they knew he was not going to win. And so yeah, let's support the guy that's not going to win this time. So and say that he was the good one.
And a lot of the Bernie bros went into QAnon after.
No, they didn't.
Some did.
I wouldn't say that.
Or Chris, was it that the QAnons were attracted to Bernie's message?
Well, I've seen a lot of QAnon people I've spoken to have said, I was a Bernie bro until and then I moved over to QAnon. That's just anecdotal on my behalf. Then.
But is that? Well, no. But I'm just from a British point of view. Obviously, there was when you had Brexit. Well, obviously Brexit's still a bit of an issue, but when at the height of its power, you had a lot of people that did a sort of I'm not a right, I'm not a conservative, can't stand them, but I'll vote for UKIP, even though it's on the right.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the EU. And so is there an element of, they weren't Democrats, but they did like Bernie and they did like Q.
Again, no, the QAnon movement is mostly a conservative movement. You have people that voted for Hillary Clinton in voted for Bernie Sanders in 2016 and 2020 because he wasn't Hillary Clinton and he was a voice for change. But anyway, it wasn't what happened. Joe Biden went into election, and again, the attacks were simple. He was a continuation of Obama, the 16-year plan to destroy America, which is the belief that 8 years of Obama and 8 years of Hillary Clinton was necessary to destroy America. 16 years plan to destroy America. So QAnon, I had the wrong belief that QAnon would not survive very well with the loss of Trump. So much that Q stopped posting a bit after Joe Biden assumed office. I have to check the date, but the last post was still in 2020. 19. I have to check the post. But well, yeah, it stopped. But so yeah, what happens is Trump loses the election. Point. All right. The guy that's supposed to save the world lost. How do we explain that? All right. One, he won, but the election was stolen. Simple belief. Okay, that is a type the big lie in conspiracy theories. Type the big lie under conspiracy theories in Google and see how many Republicans believe the big lie. Big lie is the notion that Trump won the election was stolen. It's a big support. So again, that's already mainstream for Republicans. It's still QAnon has a ideology problem in the sense of our ideology literally doesn't our ideology or band of view in the world or lenses, like a glasses to see the world is wrong. How do we create a narrative for that? So QAnon, had some narrative that Trump is going to assume office on January 6th. January 6th is going to end with Joe Biden being in jail, or March, Joe Biden is going to get to jail. Like the recountings on the states are going to prove that Trump is going to win, and like a bunch of narratives about that in 2020. None of them prove true, of course. Joe Biden is the president. So I will pick the guy that put in words what QAnon has become. It's devolution, a patriot. He usually makes texts that are incredibly long and basically analyzing law, or I don't know. Watch his appearances on podcasts. He explains better than he does in text. But basically, his theory is very simple. It's just Donald Trump won the election. Donald Trump was the most popular president of the United States. Donald Trump is still the president of the United States, and Donald Trump loves America too much. So it means that Donald Trump is still president because he used secret methods. He used methods and he's still using methods to. He's using constitutional methods, long forgotten in the Constitution, to continue government if a tragedy has happened, and if a war had happened. And according to the evolution, the war was the release of COVID, because COVID was released by China to make sure Joe Biden won the election. That was a theory. But why I'm citing this crank? Well, because this theory that Trump is the real president, or Trump is still, or the Patriots are still in power, and Biden's just a puppet president, is major privilege in Q. So, like, I like to see Patriot because he put in words what other QAnon writers and believers believe. So much that most of them now use the notion of devolution. They have completely adopted the term because it explains perfectly. Yeah, Donald Trump won. The Patriots are still in power. The rest are going to come at any minute, and everything will be fine. Yeah, any minute. Now it's going to happen tomorrow. But now there's a difference. Now the Patriots need to come with Trump. So Trump is doing all the effort in the world to destroy the evil guys. He and the famous, military are doing everything in the power. But you need to go to the local, local school and ask to end CRT. And you need to, put yourself as a politician. You need to speak to people. Like we have now the leaf of, just sitting on the couch typing, Hillary Clinton killed 1 billion people, or, more children. And you now actually have to do activism. You actually have to, you have to vote Republican, but for the good Republicans, the Republicans that want America first, Yeah,
but that's where it really starts to become a religion or a cult. Is that it can be a belief, kind of in isolation, as you say, sat on your couch googling Hillary Clinton emails and things. But once it transforms more into a call to action, that's the point at which it starts as presumably influencing things more than just as a belief system.
I wouldn't say cult. I would say an ideology. It's a more proper term, because I think it all has it's an ideology that drives people. It's conservative. It's a conservative ideology of the masses, quote unquote. Like not
Okay,
the.
So is the difference being that a cult typically has more hierarchy and more of a leader, or is it more that it's less constrained? It's free form, like because Q. Actually, that is a question I've had written down. Is that my understanding is that like QAnon had started from this anonymous user Q who would drop truth bombs. But it's continued. Like Q is still posting. So
Q stopped posting. Q has stopped posting. Okay. It has not posted any more clues.
But how did they know what things were genuine Q posts and which ones? Like, how do you determine a fake Q from a real Q?
No,
because if it's all anonymous,
there's trip codes. There's codes on the sites that allow you to identify.
Okay. No, let me go. Okay, okay. I committed a mistake and didn't explain QAnon completely. QAnon is the belief that the word America's corrupt and Donald Trump is going to destroy it's going to destroy the corruption of the deep state, and by doing that, they are doing that. But the secrets of this fight are being revealed by a Q person. Q because Q in theory is the highest clearance level of security in the U.S. So QAnon is more or less this belief that there is someone telling the truth of what the fight between the deep state is. But some Q posts, according to the bakers, the guy that picked the Q drops and makes into the proper information, are fake. Or they are not fake, they are messages on the future. And then when you see the movement has started to lose the aspect of again, it started to become even more disconnected from reality, because QAnon in the start was simple. Day X, month X, someone is going to get arrested. Okay, that didn't happen. So then have to explain why those messages didn't happen. And the explanation was, that was a message to make the deep state, afraid or something. So, there's two answers. The long one, this one, and the short one, which is, the Q drop that is correct is the Q drop that I want to believe is correct. Okay, what is trip code? Trip code is, if you went into 4chan right now and type, post a message, will be a code. That code means that your PC, only your PC, is going to generate that code of that message.
Yeah.
And that was Q. Q was that computer, and only Q could post message of that computer. So much there was an R was another person trying to pose itself as QAnon, but again, it didn't have the right trip code, so it wasn't Q. That was a big problem when QAnon went to 8chan, because 8chan is 4chan but with pedophilia. That was the thing. 8chan.
4chan needed upgrading because it was too nice.
No, downgrade really.
No, but it doesn't taken down by pedophilia. It gets taken down by people posting, people getting guns, going to like schools, killing people, and live streaming massacres. It gets taken down because people in 8chan start doing that a lot. So it gets taken down. But the creator of 8chan was gaining a lot of money with QAnon. So he creates and Q can only post by 8chan. So HQ appears, which is the QAnon guy, which is the guy that created 8chan, recreate HQ just to put QAnon back on the platform. So yes, that is how they know that Q is, because there is a certain trip code that will appear and put the messages. But again, how do you know that those messages are real messages and not stuff to distract the deep state? Well, because they want to. Because people love to, let's say Joe Biden, falls off a stair tomorrow. They are going to pick a message from 2018 that says, stripping the messages here. And they're going to post, here, this message that was fake before is now real. It's predicting the future. Even if it doesn't make sense, because QAnon is just posting, what's supposed to be just posting operations. Now QAnon is predicting the future? But yeah, again, showing how much the movement is getting disconnected from reality. But a question about cults. Okay, that's an entire different topic. Because because again, even the name of cults, like what is a cult and what isn't a cult? I know some authors that call new religious movements because technically we call it a cult because it's small. But is the for example the Roman Catholic Church a cult? Like it was a cult during the like 40 after Christ, like that. Like was it a cult or not? Like what happens if I don't know I don't know QAnon becomes a major religion in I don't know in 100 years? Wouldn't we call it a religion? Like again, I don't believe it's a cult. I believe it's an ideology because it's possible to believe in QAnon without believing in God. But it's also possible to read QAnon as with a God perspective. QAnon is an umbrella that all conspiracy theories can aggregate to. If you're religious and want QAnon to believe that it's a revelation from God at the tribulation are going to come, fine. Q accepts that. It's fine. It's fine for you to be. I can go in Telegram right now. There is the Premedic. It's a classic religious QAnon guy. But there are some other QAnon guys that are not so religious or use religion. But all of them use religion some way or sense, but usually not the main focus. We can say it. Again, you're a good response. I don't think it's a cult. It has elements of a cult, but again, I think it's an ideology. But you can.
No, I think that's yeah, I think that's fair. I think there is a question of size. There's also, you touched on some of the things that they have in common, their insulating nature, being a sort of a clear.
But we can say that of also religious, fanatical religious movement. Fascists, for example, the first thing they did was literally destroy everything that wasn't fascist, like an insulating movement, for example.
Do you want to touch on QAnon and fascism, or is that too?
Well, we have
yeah.
Technically, well, QAnon believes in a pre-lapsarian or pre-disaster notion of America, that America is perfect, is being destroyed by the deep state, and fascist is life is a struggle, that inequality is a reality, and fascism is life is a struggle, inequality is natural, and more or less there are some other characteristics. But I wouldn't call QAnon fascist per se because it doesn't have all the components of fascism. But it's possible to be a fascist and the QAnon. Again, I am communities that are exactly that.
Yeah, it's certainly in terms of if you think of the areas in the US that do have all the sort of the people that are promoting it, that kind of, as you put it, those quote unquote good Republicans are both the ones that are most attractive to Q and often the ones that are showing the most authoritarian tendencies.
Yeah, but at the same time, Q with devolution tries to be legal, or it tries to enter itself in the mainstream by saying, let's run for office. Instead of doing a coup, let's make sure that the right Republicans get elected in 2022. Trump gets elected in 2024. It tries to work itself by the mechanisms of quote unquote a democracy or a republic in the case of America, which is not so much in the example of fascists. Like Mussolini does the march to Rome in 22, and Hitler immediately does the Night of Long Knives to kill its opponents, and do a coup a month later. Again, I'm not a professional fascist, so someone corrects me.
Yeah, well, no, because it. I remember when we would, I think Chris, Andrew, and I were discussing the insurrection last year. Is that actually that was, that there was a, as you put it, one of the kind of major key beliefs that the election was stolen was very much the catalyst for that. But also, actually, there were definite parallels to Hitler's failed coup before being put in jail briefly and coming back and then kind of succeeding by more legitimate means, which is, as you've said, is kind of what they're doing now, is that they're trying to get elected by primarying moderate Republicans and then getting into office.
Yeah, at the same time, we can see that QAnon is, even when it's losing more and more contact with reality, it's created its own reality, that even Trump itself is becoming more or less, it's still a major figure, but like Trump, someone asked the question.
Is there like an abstract, idealized Trump that is different
Yes.
to Trump? Yeah.
No, yeah, they have like Trump does, like, QAnon people don't believe in Trump as a person. They believe in Trump as an ideal concept. He is the perfect Christian. He's the perfect patriot. He is the male figure forever. Like even like how they draw Trump, it's always like like a perfect figure that is untarnished and has all the beliefs that they desire. So like
holding a bald eagle and an American flag, and
basically yeah, which is classic. Like they are not even like, that's why I say they don't believe in Trump anymore. Like if Trump, like what I think the big moment for Q is if Trump dies tomorrow, like what would happen? Like, but the movement is separate itself from Trump, quote unquote. Like Trump's, for example, said that vaccines are okay, which makes sense from him. Like he was only against vaccines because he wanted to just open stuff quickly. And the Q people just said it was a false flag. It was a secret message to the patriots for people to do research. They're disassociated itself a bit from Trump, because real Trump is not, like, they don't want real Trump. They want the figure that they created on their imaginations of Trump.
Got a couple of questions in the chat there, Chris. One from a professional poster.
Okay.
If you can bring that up. He's asking, how do you think QAnon theories will really evolve? It doesn't seem like the type of theory people will hang on to. It does seem like the type of theory people will hang on to for a long time.
Okay. All right. We use history to understand the present. So, all right, let's begin. I think if you want to understand how Q theories will really evolve, watch 2022 and 24 elections. If in 22 the Q movement, if the Q people in Congress in America get even more votes, that will change the Republican Party, and the ideas of QAnon will become even more mainstream. In 2004, if Donald Trump wins again, then QAnon is going to stay probably until 2028, solid. The ideas will spread and so on. If Trump loses, yeah, I don't know what will happen. Again, I don't know, but I would check these 2 years, and after just 2 years, I can answer your question. I'm sorry, but like, okay.
Can you make some sort of vague prediction we can retranslate later pretend it came true?
Yeah, right. Right. Oh, yeah. The numbers of the stuff is. The numbers of the lottery are 5, 2, 8, 20 or something, But yeah, okay. Before this question, I'm going to make the prediction. All right, QAnon will continue to try to evolve into legality and to associate itself with the instrument of the Republican Party, which already has and will continue. So this projection will probably continue in 2022 and 2024, unless something major happens, like Trump dying, or, I don't know, a new candidate appearing. That is what is supposed to happen. Again. Second question.
So I brought up on the screen one that seems like a run-on, which is that essentially, do people, or I assume people double down if they don't think themselves wrong. So if having been shown to be wrong, actually does that only further increase belief in QAnon?
Well, first we have to understand that yes and no, because technically those people never had a failure, because their ideology on them is so thick, they don't see reality. So again, in the example of flat earthers, if we pick a flat earther, literally went to the space station, and put them on the space station watching Earth as an astronaut, the first thing he's going to say, yeah, this studio is so great, you are faking stuff so well. Like, that's what they are going to do. Because again, they are in a level of ideology, of abstraction of reality so high that they don't see, as a way. The psychology of that again, you can check the Psychology of Religions. You can check the famous Great Fail. There's a specific name. It was the Church of the Seventh Day. It's the Church of the Seventh Day.
Or Seventh-day Adventists.
Yes, the Adventists, and how the
Well, 'cause
and
they-
how for those that don't know the story, it is because the Adventists said that the world was going to end, and it predicted a series of dates. The world didn't end it, but the religion it still exists to this day.
oh,
Another,
yeah.
sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say, anyone that like is learning about influence, Robert Cialdini's book Influence, which is like a base
A big influence.
to learn how to influence people. The very first, I don't necessarily know it's the first one, but one of the first ones, it talks about social proof, and it uses I think it's the Church of Latter-day Saints as an example, whereby every time they make a prediction the world's going to end, it doesn't, and then they use basically the concept of social proof. Not that they're doing it intentionally, but there is the element that actually the fact the world didn't end in the prediction wrong doesn't matter if we all agree collectively as a society or as a community that we've got this other mission, we're going to go off and do these other things, and actually we were right all along.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a book called When Prophecies Fail, which looks at this sort of thing, mainly in the terms of religion and stuff like that.
I was going to suggest that. Very good.
Yes. And basically it talks about ways of resolving cognitive dissonance. And so basically you've gone, okay, this didn't turn out how I wanted. I can either abandon that belief, or I can come up with a reason to hold on to that belief and, make it more comfortable. So they often say things like, okay, the world didn't end, but that's because we were really good, and we were, our lives were so good to God that he delayed the end. And I think there's a similar thing going on with these things. People can always find a way to justify what's happening by some other event or some other action explaining it.
And conspiracy theories are, they are always connected to societies that they are born of. So if the society, situations are still present in the moment, there's no reason for the conspiracy belief to continue. In the case of America, we have increasement. Wages are going down. Wages are going down. The rich are getting richer. The situation is getting worse for the common folk of the America. So why would the social society situations are the same? So why would the conspiratory belief continue? No, sorry, end, quote unquote. I don't know if tomorrow, America become a communist society. I don't know. Maybe there will be conspiracy theories. There were conspiracy theories. I don't want to enter the subject. Okay, forgot what I said. No, I don't want to receive messages about this. No, I don't want to. But yeah,
So why does a historian end up studying conspiracy theories?
All right, it starts in 2016.
Oh, that's better than last time. Okay, not 1445 or anything.
Oh, okay. No, it is. I was at a library, and not a library, used bookshop, and I found a Holocaust denial book. I still have it to this day. It's the only book written by a Brazilian of Holocaust denial. Yeah, something my country did.
You must be so proud.
Oh yeah, but yeah, it's a Holocaust denial book, and I got so fascinated about it. How did someone wrote about this? But I kept that, and I continue until more or less university. When I brought the book to one of my teachers, and my teacher loved it because it's not a rare book to find, but it's a boring book to find. And he copied. No, yeah, it's a boring book to find because in Brazil, Holocaust denial and Nazism is prohibited by law. So again, the book is not published anymore. And besides internet, it was alright. So the teacher took copies of that, and I started to get interested in conspiracy theories. So that's why I went to discussing, quote unquote conspiratorial beliefs in Travel to Russia, which was my graduation paper. Don't read it; it's bad. But yeah, I got interested by that. And for anyone that's a historian here, historians have not studied conspiracy theories much. But okay, don't send me the link to the books. I know they are. I'm reading all of them. But in comparison to other focus of history, it's not a major touch subject on history. Because usually people that discuss conspiracy theories stopped in 2008, 2000, even 2005, 2006, there were people asking that conspiracy theories is not something the West does anymore. That's from the backward countries to do. So much that you can have a book citing that, literally saying that, oh yeah, conspiracy theories is not even prevalent anymore, like 2006. Oh, sweet summer child. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting why people believe and what they believe. And I find it interesting how can someone, deny the Holocaust, even with the incredible amount of evidence, another conspiracy theory, or QAnon, which I find is fascinating, to be completely honest.
And is there a special perspective a historian can bring to this subject that you think other subjects can't?
Well, going by our patron of history, what's his name? Oh God, Mark Bloch. Historians are like the ogre of the legends. When they smell human, they know they found their prey. So anything that is quote unquote in relation to humanity, humans in time, is a topic of a historian. But what a historian can bring is the association with long periods of time. I am studying on my master's the 90s conspiracy theories and how they dealt with the fall of the Soviet Union, for example. Not for example, I'm actually doing this, but yeah, I just realized, why did you say, for example, I'm actually doing this? But a historian can bring the notion, again, historians attend demands of the present. We right from the present to the past. We see the past with the glasses of the present. So we can understand conspiracy theories more right now with the situation that's happening. And again, we are answering a question that people have in their minds. Everyone's talking about conspiracy theories. I think that historians can help trying to answer these questions, like why flat Earth existed in 80, 90. It starts in 80, 90 with American guy, or like the Illuminati appear, for example. Like why these beliefs prolong to history? Why there are guys in, I don't know, Fox News saying George Soros, or why there are literally people saying that the Ukraine invasion is about biolabs, for example. Like, that there's a long tradition of that explains that. I think historians can bring this, the historian perspective, which is the things in time. That explain that?
I'm happy.
It's hard to explain your own area, okay?
Okay. I think that's we've got to an hour. I think that's a great point to end on. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you all.
It was really interesting. I unfortunately learned more about QAnon than I wanted to know. Some scary things in there.
I'm happy that you learn about it. I cut it so much. I didn't talk about mole children, about so many stuff. But
yes, the mole children is crazy.
Mole children, for parentheses. Mole children are the belief that kids are living in tunnels, being tortured by the deep state. So just parentheses. They had been rescued because of the pandemic. Actually, the pandemic was created to rescue them. But yeah. I like to explain what they say.
Right, it all connects. Yeah. But anyway, yes, thank you very much. So next time, I know I said this a few weeks ago, we're not a previous show, but I will be talking about the techniques of science denial next time. And so tune in for that on the 29th of March. And so once again, I'd like to say thank you very much to Jared for his talk. And thank you for everyone coming along and watching the show. There's some great questions this evening, so thank you very much for that. And we'll see you all again in a couple of weeks' time.
Shout out to my friends at Birdcage and my friends around the world. Say everyone.
Cool. Cool. Thank you. Sorry, I should have given you a chance to do that. But
Just some friends, some friends asked me to say a hi out to them, Hi everyone. Eu sei que vocês não assistiram, but yeah.
There are definitely shills in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay then. Right. See you. Bye.
See you. Bye.